So, I've been talking about doing this for a while, starting a video blog. I've been trying to write, and I've been sort of unsuccessful, and I write a lot slower than my mind thinks up great, creative God ideas. So, I'm trying this instead, and fortunately, God blessed me via my parents with a phone that has a camera in it. And so now I have all the spare time, being as that I'm not in school, to start telling people about the gospel. I have for a while wanted to do this, at least, tell people what I know. And it started out as wanting to write a book, particularly about love, because for the longest time I didn't ever believe in love. I thought it was just this crazy, not crazy, but just chemical reactions going on in your body, and that people got addicted to this. And that's all it was, and that it was short lasting, and I had no concept of what love really is and what it was, just nothing. So once I became a believer, I was like, yeah, God is love, and that's, who He is, and what He's about, and that's so true, and He is so much bigger, and the gospel is so more radical and more loving than gracious than I could have ever made it to be. So people need to know this message, and I never wrote the book, obviously, and I never really did the video blog thing either until just now, because the enemy was lying to me about this, that everything has been said already, which it has. The problem is, millions of people still don't know the truth. So here goes. This is what I'm doing, and hope you enjoy these little morsels of delicious Jesus, and you just chew on Him and get drunk on Him and high or whatever. Some people have their preferences of drinking versus getting high, smoking. I totally get it. I'm more of a toker, the ghost. I kind of get more high and blitzed. I know other people who are crazy drunks. My roommate, for example, she is a whack. She gets so wasted on Jesus. It's hilarious. I love it. Okay, so, I was going to talk about, I was thinking the other day, about a lie that so many people have been led to believe about God. So, exposed lie number one. And that is that God can stand us, meaning that He likes us, and He can be in our presence, so much so that He possessed us. And we'll get into that probably a little bit now and continued in other blogs, but yes, He possessed us. Isn't that radical? It's so cool. God that possesses us. So I was thinking about this because I was just thinking about the cross of Christ and Jesus, and I've been kind of trying to learn more about the true character of Jesus Christ in the Bible, because I've totally misunderstood my whole life and who God is. And He's incredibly sarcastic and witty and angry and this, very intelligent, and he was very human, very loving. And where I'm going with this is where, I'm saying that God can stand us. Obviously, Jesus is a great example of being able to stand people, minus the religious, because He just, he wrecked those religious calves. He just cut them to pieces, just slaughtered them. All of them, even the ones that thought they'd killed him. Slaughtered them. Amazing. But I was thinking about this because so many people think that Jesus Christ died on the cross to save us of our sins, which is true. That I'm not saying that that's not true at all, but that wasn't the point of him dying on the cross. Like that was a bonus, and that was part of it, but it wasn't his main goal with his crucifixion and resurrection. And I take this back to the Garden of Eden, and where Adam and Eve, are in the garden and they fall. And I say this because the cross, everybody thinks that, God is too holy. God is so holy that he can't stand us. He can't be in our presence because we're sinful, and that's why Jesus had to die. So, going back to the Garden of Eden. Adam and Eve sinned. Yes, they were deceived. And that's okay. Everybody thinks, well, why didn't they figure that out? I could have figured that out. No, you probably would have failed to. I probably would have eaten the apple too. Who knows? They had no concept, serpent talking to them, they had no idea. That was normal at the time. They hadn't spent a lot of time with God yet. Well, at the same time was irrelevant. We don't really know. But, who knew? They were learning about creation. And apparently serpents talked. At least this serpent did, so who's to say that it can't happen? But they were deceived, that's the point. Anyways, Adam and Eve hid in the garden after, they ate of the tree of knowledge of good and evil. I say apple, that's not really true. The fruit of the tree of knowledge of good and evil. Why it's an apple, I don't know. And why they now give apples to teachers, supposedly, that's like, it's so stereotypical. What? That makes us sound like evil or something. Yeah, I was supposed to be in training to be a teacher. Sorry. So God, being as that he's in the garden and present, and, he's looking for Adam and Eve, and they hid, and he knew where they were, because he's all-knowing, but he still wanted them to come to him, even though that they had sinned, they had done wrong in the garden. And basically my point is that God found them, of course. Thank goodness, literally, he found them. But they didn't explode because, it's God, I'm impure. I'm not, holy anymore. No, they lived. Obviously, the human race is still here. And God was in the presence of sin. Hope that blows your holiness out of the water, because holiness, I'm pretty sure the definition of holiness in it does not say, cannot stand sin. I don't know the exact definition of holiness, but I'm pretty sure that's not in there. So, yeah, I'll have to look that one up, but anyways. So, all this to say that God likes you, and that your sin doesn't disqualify you from being loved and from being possessed by a loving, radical, crazy God. Your sin is so minuscule. And the fact that it's been made this big thing is ridiculous. Truly. It's ridiculous. And going back to the cross, which is what it was all about, God prophesied that he was going to send his son to destroy the curse of sin. And it's funny, it's been destroyed for all time, and that's where time and eternity and stuff kind of makes my head hurt, and it's weird. But we've been pure our whole lives, ever since the beginning. Ha! Oh dear, so good. But, back to the cross. Ooh, and a loving God and good. Ooh, I lost my train of thought.